call the meeting to order, albeit 7:10 or so. Is there, Jack, is there anyone else that's on with us in the public?
Just us six.
Okay, so there's no public comment. The reorganization will be tabled until the August meeting. So we'll call attendance. Jack Kelly?
Here.
Jack Kelly is here. Lisa Kelly?
Here.
Here. Bob Hassinger?
I'm here.
Here, and Jim Gallagher is here. Now, also present, however, not sworn in yet, we'll say good evening to Robert Berger.
Robert Berger's here.
How do you like with the Robert instead of the Bob there?
I like it.
All right, and Corson Wyman.
Here.
Yeah, clean your room, will you?
Jim, on public input, I just wanted to say, Linda and I got to watch finally a good part of, I think it was the last planning board meeting. And we were both really impressed with how good a job Bill did. He, it's a professional job. He was really doing a good job. It was better than when you're in the room yourself.
That's you're talking Bill Robidoux.
Yes.
All right, so just for the minutes. Thank you for that. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes that were sent out?
I have.
Make
Is
a
there a
motion
motion out there?
the minutes from June 21st, 2021.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? What a lousy picture I have, huh?
Yeah.
All right, hearing none. Jack Kelly?
Aye.
Jack Kelly, aye. Jim Gallagher is aye. Bob Hassinger?
His eye.
Bob Hassinger is aye. And Lisa Kelly?
Aye.
Lisa Kelly is aye, so it's carried 4 to cipher. There's an invoice that we sent you out, very routine on Cablecast. This is for the yearly fee that we pay for to Cablecast for their good service. Does anyone want to put a motion on the floor?
Move, we pay it.
Okay,
Second.
there's a motion made and seconded. All right, under discussion, is there any discussion? Sorry. Deb, can you just take this out of here, please? Any discussion? Hearing none.
Well, I was gonna say one more thing, if I may, Jim, this is the cloud in the sky, or cloud storage that we're talking about, right, John?
Yes. That's what it
Okay,
is.
very good. All right, Jack Kelly?
Aye.
Jack Kelly is aye. Jim Gallagher is aye. Bob Hassinger
Aye.
is aye. Lisa Kelly?
Aye.
Lisa Kelly is aye. The order that I'm going in is just how you appear on my screen, in case you're worried.
Yeah.
So, young Mr. Berger, we can go ahead and pay that. All right, in your leisure.
Okay.
All righty. The,
Did we skip his report?
We did.
yeah, because he's not sworn in. That's why.
Doesn't matter.
I can still present the report if you wish. It's just information. It's nothing to vote on.
Well, let me ask, the report was sent out for everyone's review. Did anyone have any questions that they wanted to ask, Robert?
He said that he could explain what's been going on once he got the new report. If he can explain anything, it's perfectly fine with me.
Robert?
Okay. I think Lisa had her hand up. Did you?
I was just gonna concur that I like it when you go over it for us.
Okay.
Okay, Bob.
I'm
you
doing
wanna
it.
go
I'm
over
working on it. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
Does everybody see the screen?
Yeah,
Yes.
So these are the numbers These are the account numbers that we deal with right here. This
Right.
one here is our wages.
I-
This is, go ahead. Did somebody say something?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at two different copies. I'm having a little trouble seeing where you're pointing.
This is my mouse right here.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so this is what we budgeted for the camera guys and Bob. Personal purchase of services, energy and supplies. This is our bond right here. Last year, we had an article in front of town meeting so we can expend $320,000. This is the number that we're trying to stay in because we don't want to go over. This is what we brought in for that fiscal year through our agreements with Verizon and Charter. We brought in $377,850.68. We've expended out of that $320,000, which we allocated, we spent $283,956.31. Then when you come over to here, this is the percentage of each line. I can make this smaller, but then you might not be able to.
No, don't do that.
Okay. So out of this here, this is what we pay the guys. This is their wage, their paycheck. We've expended 88% of that $100,000. On this one, this line, we expended 238%. And the reason why that happened is because we didn't really know what Bill August was going to be charging us for that year. And we're going to run into the same problem again, but we're still okay. Purchase of services, out of that 38,000, we only spent, we have 60% left over. That's why the number up here really didn't affect our bottom line because we are a bottom line budget. And then again, purchase of equipment and repairs, we only spent 19% of that line. That's why over on the other column, we spent $280,000 out of the 320. What we have in the account right now, sitting in the account, July 1st, after we paid the loan for the construction at the new studio, we have in the bank $898,817.65. That's my report for the end of fiscal year 21.
Okay. So,
Well done.
so this year that just ended, we took in 378,000 and we spent 284,000, including the bond.
Yes.
Okay. That's at least a lot easier.
Yep.
Follow.
And it shows how frugal we are as well. Very good.
The first year, we didn't have any money. And the second year, we had $900.
Well, we're doing a little bit
We're
better.
doing better. You know why? Never mind.
Well, let's hope we stay on track this way and it doesn't go the other direction.
Yeah. Listen, I
Well-
still, even though you can't vote on anything, Mr. Commissioner, can you just tell us what you were telling me about the refurbishing in conference room F and some of the wish list items that you had?
Yep. Let me close this because that's on the agenda. Okay, so we're skipping. Okay, so I don't want to spend money right now on this agenda item for conference room F, but I want us to start thinking about it, putting it together. I think we should try to get the media situation that we have in conference room A and get it up also into conference room F. I think we need to have Crestron up there. I think we need a better PA system or speakers. I mean, the equipment we have in A is class A. I want to try to get that up in F.
Off the top of your head, what do you think you're talking about for writing a check for how much?
Well, we definitely need Stuart to come in and engineer it, but I'm probably thinking $100,000.
And that really, I mean, from my standpoint, if we basically have two of conference room A's, that capability, I think that speaks volumes for GCTV.
Absolutely. And the reason why I think it's a great idea to do it is because if we're going to do more Zoom meetings, like you were just praising about, Bob, in conference room A, we can't do that in conference room F. We don't have that technology. So what I'm trying to say is we need to bring that technology up to F.
Well, my thought on it, of course, I've been thinking about it forever, is it depends on how much it costs. 100 is a good bit. If it's 200, that's an awful lot. We spend quite a lot of money on the technology in A. About what, half the whole project was technology. But
We spent 200.
We've already got some of that, the equivalent of that, upstairs. So it's not the whole thing again, hopefully.
All right, Bob Berger.
No, I agree. We spent probably, I think $100,000 we would get us somewhere.
All right,
And
and this
that
is-
wouldn't be in this fiscal year. I say we start working on the figures for fiscal year 2023. Now, the other thing in conference room F that I wanted to bring up is I'd like to refurbish those chairs that are around the conference room table up there. I think we need 10 new chairs. If you go up there, they're all ripped. Each chair is about $140. So we're talking for 10 chairs, you're talking $1,400 to replace those chairs.
No, I have a question. Why isn't that a capital expenditure? Why does that come out of our fund?
Yeah,
I didn't go that route. It's kind of our studio.
no, it's a public
No.
meeting room.
Yeah,
You don't have to yell at me, Mr. Hassinger, because I can shut my thing off. This is a discussion.
all right,
I-
Jack. Oh, sorry. I thought
Nope,
you were
I'm
gonna-
done. I'm done.
Jack,
First of all, I want to put all of my support behind that because that has been a constant issue in that room, not having enough chairs, not liking the chairs, other rooms coming in and taking the chairs. So I think that would be a good idea. The question asking towards whose responsibility it would be, I think that only gets confusing considering, when people talk about room A, they talk about it as, it's yours, it's your guys' room, your responsibility. But in room F, we ran into some difficulties with the projector. We wanted to try and either upgrade it or streamline it. It ended up getting fixed, but every time we came down to it, is that nope, that belongs to the school committee or the schools. So if we want to fix that, it has to go through the schools. So because there was some precedent, I think that might be the only reason, but that's only something worth exploring. Who would pay?
okay, thank you. And this is all in the discussion stage. So I'm wondering, Bob, if you may be able to have a discussion with Evan and spread some of these thoughts around and then bargain with them.
What? Try to get them to pitch in?
Well, let them know that, if you were gonna be pitching in for, say, like a dozen new chairs up there, then I think the board might be interested in upgrading the environment there electronically. Have a discussion, something like that.
Okay.
Board,
Corson?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as conference room A is concerned and conference B is concerned, I don't think of those as ours. If they are, then we'd be paying rent. We're certainly not renting that space. And if they do think it's our space and they're not charging us rent, well, then we could have the studio there altogether and not pay a thing. Doesn't happen that way, though.
I understand.
no,
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
I don't want to see the advocate for spending the money out of our budget go negotiate with the town administrator. I want an open discussion.
Well, you know what I mean. As we're saying.
No, I don't.
Okay. Bob, you look really grouchy today.
Yeah,
And why is that? It's after Christmas.
no, it's before Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
We're more than halfway, Jim.
All I'm saying is that can we have a discussion and let him know what we've been talking about? Because we got to go out and get a bid, all right? And then we have to see if that's what we want to do and things like that. So as you pointed out, Bob, we're a ways off. But I think that the town administrator may want to be in on the conversation as to what we're talking about and see what he can do for that room, seeing that, as Corson points out, it's not our room. Jack?
I just wanted to speak to that. I'm sure we could simply invite Evan to our next meeting, have him come in and have that discussion. Because first of all, I'm sure he would at least respond. And also he's already shown his willingness to work with us, not just on his appearances in the studio, but our progress on the OWL devices. So I'm sure that that's something that we can accomplish.
So let's throw that out there. Do we want to invite him to next month? Or is that too soon?
No, we can invite him for the discussion.
Is there a consensus?
Well, my objection is continuing from our past town administrator. The effort is trying to pull as much money out of what we have for access and spend money on general expenses for the town. And I object to that. All right. It's my job to protect our interest.
And I think that would certainly be my standpoint as well. But I'm thinking if we are at the embryonic stage in room F, it might be a good idea to share with him some of the things that we've been talking about, so that when we go back to him later on and start looking for actual dollars, he's not going to be caught by surprise.
Why are we going to ask him for dollars?
For the chairs.
You're talking about our dollars.
No, he's
No.
talking about taking it out of the municipal side.
All right. Well, let's have the conversation when we can get together with him. He only has to go to about 12 meetings a day, I think.
All right.
There's been
Well,
three.
it's all right. If
there's
he's got
been-
12 meetings a day, we meet at 7 o'clock at night, so it shouldn't be a problem.
For the IT committee, we've had like 3 rounds with him today, not in person, but email rounds. And I bet you everybody else is the same as we are.
If I may interject here
Of
for a
course,
second.
go ahead.
Yeah, the need for the chairs, or for that matter, any other materials needed for that room, the way I see it is that we should just simply request the town, to make this room to be a good functional room, you really need to spend the money for these chairs. And you throw it in their lap because they're the ones that have to produce it, as far as I'm concerned. To imply the fact that we're going through the numbers and figuring out how much the chairs are going to be, and this is how much you're going to have to spend on chairs in this room. I don't think we should go down that road. I mean, you could
No,
probably,
I agree. I
you could
agree.
probably
I
say,
think
look, this room is meeting some other furniture, and you should do something about it to accommodate it.
I see the whole chairs
And just leave it
idea.
at that.
I see it as an aside. All right, when what we want to be talking with him about primarily is some of the things that we're talking about making F look like A. All right, and then as we go along in the conversation, I don't think we're talking money at all. All right, just concepts. And then as we go along, we could talk about window dressing. But I don't think we should be talking money at all. Bob?
And just so you know,
Comment? I did.
we put Cable put the lights in. Cable bought the TV. I not bought the counters or the desk.
Yeah, that's-
Cable built the desk so it looks like conference room A. I mean, Cable Access built the room. But
And
you know,
we know that.
that's fine. I'm in a committee and I understand how the committee works. And I will follow what the committee is asking.
But
But-
my point is that, that we know that, but that's information that precedes him or predates him.
It's
So in having a conversation, those may be some of the points that we may want to make as we talk about the future of Room F.
Okay.
if,
All right,
Jim, if we're done with that, when a member of the public wants to make a comment,
I thought we had no public on, Jack.
Well, I'm not actually,
down here. So
Hello, Linda.
I'm sort of there. I'm there.
Oh, you're in space, Linda.
Yeah,
there you
I'm in
are.
space. Yes. We actually watched the last planning board meeting. It came up and we watched. I had never seen one before on television, believe it or not. Why would I watch something that I'm part of? And I was really impressed. I thought Bill did an outstanding job. It really is professional looking. It's sharp. I just wanted to put that in and say that was worth seeing. I'm glad we watched it. Everything about it was really dead on sharp.
Very good. And let me just for the record point out that that was Linda Hassinger, who keeps popping in and out of the picture. She looks like she's a distant planet in the solar system. But that was Linda Hassinger making a comment touching on what Bob had said a little bit earlier. So thank you for that, Linda. And we'll make sure that we pass that along to young Mr. Robidoux.
Yes, thank
Any
you.
other discussions about Room F? Robert? All right. There was discussions
I'm
last month.
sorry.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Lisa.
sorry. I raised my hand late. So does Room F have the capabilities that Room A does insofar as Zoom? Okay, shouldn't we be kind of focused on that?
That's what the upgrades would do, because we
Okay.
need a lot of upgrades to get to that capacity of technology. We need the Crestron, we need the PA system with the mics going in.
Mhm.
And we can't do it now. There's just
Okay.
no way.
That was 100,000 you were talking about earlier?
It is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thank you, Bob.
So I'm glad you spoke up. I'm glad you
Mhm.
spoke up. So just to make sure it's clear, the other stuff that we were talking about, I think are matters that are an aside that we may want to have a discussion on sometime when we're talking about meeting Room F. Mr. Hassinger.
yeah, I think that it isn't all one thing. The thing that's missing right now is that I know about is the ability to do a Zoom meeting, a hybrid Zoom meeting in there. Is that it, Bob? And
That's
that
it.
doesn't require all that stuff to do that.
Well, it
Not at
does.
all.
Well, it does. If you
Well, no,
want
it
to,
doesn't.
okay, I'm not going to argue, but when the pandemic came and we designed and engineered Room A, everything goes through Crestron, so that, and it's because the production looks great because of how we engineered it. That room is considered a big laptop for the purpose of Zoom. So in order to do that, we need the Crestron, and we need the PA system, and we need the speakers. That is where the big money is right there. Because we
And-
have most of everything except for those three pieces.
Jack?
And that second, the Intel Nook.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying,
I know, but that's $500. That's nothing.
Yeah, well, I think that you could be on Zoom without all of that if you made the effort. But the other thing is that if that's pushed out a year or so before it actually happens, all this Zoom business may be irrelevant. We don't know what the governor and the legislature are going to do. So that's kind of a long range thing. Don't justify it as being able to start doing Zoom up there.
Well, I think this is an entire discussion that we need to have later on. Because the first thing that we're going to have to do is to go out and get some pricing. And then after we get the pricing, I think we can have a more informed conversation about what direction we may want to go. 2 years ago, we certainly never thought that that room F would need to be like room A because there was going to be a pandemic. God knows what's in store. So let's just make sure that if this is something that we want to do later in life, then let's get the prices for it now, because it's not going to be any cheaper than it is right now. Not that it's cheap at all, but certainly not as cheap right now. Can we move on? Okay, thank you. The discussion on public relations began last month, and I know that young Mr. Hassinger had talked to his friend there, and I think Bob DeToma was going to be reaching out and talking with someone else, and of course Bob is not with us tonight. So I think this may be an item we may want to push off to next month as well, so that we can have a full discussion. Any complaints about that?
Well, you folks, I recall the discussion as being, we're talking about promoting the upcoming, hopefully upcoming production course, which is going to be upcoming soon, and we're pushing back, so we're not going to, you know, we're not going to have much time to do a lot if we don't get it put together. My interest, though, of course, is to get back to a more aggressive public outreach and relations in general, promoting and keeping cable in the public eye, getting editorial material taken up by the various media and so on. I can tell you, I did have some communication with Dana about it. Jack wanted something.
Hang on to that, Jack.
And as I respond to that, I would also like to say this is going to kind of blend into my access activity report. But that want to have better public relations, the communications at least have begun. We've spoken with Jen Paluzzi about doing kind of Grafton's own version of Chronicle. And so her being in the news and personality would help that kind of bridge. We're talking about having cable access be in the forefront. Just today, a gentleman came in, he does local access shows, I believe he said for Shrewsbury and Framingham. I don't remember what he said the show was called, but he came in looking for information so that maybe he could start using his show on our cable access. And as soon as he saw the studio, his first question was, am I allowed to start shooting it here?
Is he a resident?
Huh?
Is he a resident of Grafton?
I'm not positive, but he came in, he saw the studio, and right away it changed from like, can you guys put on your search on your channels to like, oh, could I start coming in here and working, doing that? So it's not as like bare bones as it does seem. We do have some amount of outreach. That's been successful.
Why don't you continue right along, Jack, with your access activity report?
All right, so we have had a lot less in terms of original content being produced, just because boards and committees are going back in person, and when we have to go up to the municipal center, that, you know, cuts right into the amount of work we're able to do just here in the studio. Bill, over the past couple of weeks, has produced his own little short, I guess you just call it, about capturing some of the images of the rain, and he's using that to ramp up to a more.
I'm sorry, images of what?
Some of the thunderstorms we've been having in the rain.
Oh, okay, rain.
So he made a little cinematic about that, and that's going to be him ramping up into a enormous project that's going to be undertaken pretty soon. I was able to, with a friend of mine, create a program that's easily mass produced, so people can just constantly see stuff is popping up on our YouTube channel. It's being populated, but it's also, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not intrusive enough to where it's kind of crowding things. It's just a way to keep the channel active even when there aren't meetings or other content. The hybrid meetings have been going very well so far. We haven't had all of our major complaints have seemed to have been resolved. The only thing now is making sure people have their laptops muted and their microphones muted on their laptops so that we can run the audio through our stuff. And having our second Mac be completely up and running has been very beneficial to our editing time.
Which is that?
It's Chris's Mac. We in the old studio, when you went into that hallway for editing, there was 2 Macs side by side. When we brought them here, Bob was mainly using his computer in his office and the Mac that I'm on currently. And then we decided to repurpose Bob's second computer for our conference room and bring down the second Mac to get it fully upgraded and updated. So it is being used now for mostly our public content. So that doesn't, shorten the time or take up time for us to edit and publish government productions and stuff like that.
Okay.
The newest Macs
Well, let
are
me, hang
old.
on, hang on,
Oh,
let me
yeah,
just
they're
find out. Is that it for you, Jack? So-
The only other quick thing is you've probably noticed that business to business has been gone for quite some time with the pandemic not going away, but slowing down. Jay has had to do more work in the restaurant, and he's has some undertakings he's trying to do, and he's had a bit of a staffing issue. So we have been working on a business to business restart, and that should be coming soon.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment, Bob Hassinger?
Yeah,
Did you have something?
I think
Bob,
the
every
new,
time you put your hand behind your head, it looks like someone lopped off your hand.
I
Yeah,
know, no,
there's
that's the
whole arm
chair.
there.
That's the chair.
Yeah, okay. Try sticking your head back, Chris. Could be.
Well, actually, this connects. I'm doing this on a 10-year-old Mac, which is not the best in the world. And it doesn't handle the video real well. It hasn't even crashed yet during this meeting, but it's a normal thing for it to do that.
Well, there's still time to hope.
Well, I work on this every day. In any case, the point is old Macs, old iMacs, in fact. The newest of the iMacs are old. In fact, Jack, if you could, how to find out it's the mid 2011 or the something or other Mac. If maybe you could send me a little note about the ages of, what.
I can do that right now. This is a
Oh,
late.
yeah, send it to me. Send it to me. I won't remember beyond when I stop
To what
talking.
end, Bob?
What's that?
To what end? What do you think?
Because the Macs get to where they can't do much of the job anymore, and it eventually comes time to replace them. Knowing something about which vintages and which OSs they're running and so on helps me look at that and see. There are new Macs that, well, about 3 times a year there are new Macs coming out, but there's some new now, which I think I mentioned a few meetings back, as we ought to think about. So I just wondered, if I have some information, I can look at it and think about it. It's we shouldn't be wanting for or having to patch together bits and pieces to have enough everything we want to do. Especially if we're going to start getting producers coming in and wanting to edit and whatnot. In that lovely editing room with six seats, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I can actually speak to that and give you probably more information.
Yeah. Take it offline, or did you want?
But that was a discussion that we had not only on this board, but also as the employees, as our next wish list item, because it's not just the Macs. My office computer can only run one Google Chrome tab at a time before it slows to a complete halt.
Yeah.
So that's something we were looking at as a somewhat of a massive replacement project.
Now, who was talking about that?
Me, Bill, and Bob as the employees, and then it was brought up to the board. I think is just a discussion topic.
this is a committee, you're talking about this committee, not
Yes.
the board. Right. Yeah, we've bought most all the computers, I think, including the PCs, over the years, but it's been quite a while since we bought very much in the way of computers. And I'd like us to be looking into that. Maybe you and I can look at it, Chad. Okay.
Good. Corson,
Yes. In terms of Macs, I experienced a real slowdown and problem with with my Macs, like you as well, Mr. Hassinger. But I decided I was going to bite the bullet and buy another Mac. So I have a Mac Mini that has the M1 processor in it, and it's a 2020 M1 with 16 gigs of RAM on it. It has a 2 terabyte
SSD.
SSD drive in it. Right. So it runs it's totally quiet, very quiet at all. It runs very cool. It's very fast, incredibly fast. It basically, Apple decided they were going to start producing their own processors and not use Intel's, only because they found that the emulation they could run, which could take care of all of their Intel programs that they usually would want to run equally as fast in the emulation mode on the M1. And then they've got these other programs they have, like their editing software, which is incredibly fast. I've tried some editing on this computer, and it is absolutely amazing. I'm running two 27-inch 4K monitors with it, and it's incredibly fast, no slowdown at all.
Right.
good to know.
That's
I
more
want
or
you to know
less
that
where I
50 years
started
ago,
from.
I fired an M1. So I don't think they were the same.
That was a Garand.
All right.
I
you.
did too.
It's still pretty reasonable. I mean, for what you get.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this on the August agenda to talk about possible upgrades for the Macs and the a massive replacement across the board. And let's just have a talk about that when we're all here. Speaking of next month, our next meeting is August 23rd, and I'm just trying to think. I don't have any other. Let me ask: has everyone here had 2 shots for the COVID? Well, let me ask: is there anyone that has not?
Jim, the 23rd is planning board.
Yes, there's 5 Mondays in that month, so yeah.
Why is that? Because that's the 3rd Monday of the month.
No, it's the 4th.
Is it?
Yeah, there's 5 Mondays in that month.
That's the 4th.
Wait a minute.
We've been going.
You don't think I could have made a mistake on that, do you?
Oh, never.
No.
Third
Well,
Monday.
the 16th. Yeah, the 16th. So as I said, Bob, because we didn't want to.
And then you were asked.
We didn't want to have a conflict with the planning board, so our cable meeting is August 16th, rather. All right. Any other items? Do I have a motion? You 2 guys got to get sworn in. I know it's a long haul.
Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow night because I need it when the place is open late.
Okay. Excellent. And I've got, in another month or so, I'm going to be a notary public. So if you guys, in a month or so, if you need anything notarized, I'll do it for you for nothing. But I got to get sworn in by the governor.
Second.
I'm in trouble.
I'm hearing, did I hear a motion to adjourn? There's a motion from Lisa. Is there a second?
Yes, I seconded.
Or you seconded it? All right. Jack Kelly?
Aye.
Jack Kelly is aye.
What do I miss? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're lagging out a bit.
That's that Mac.
Yeah,
computer.
well, that's because the computer tried to do something besides this, and it. What was the discussion there, and what are we voting on now?
You're simply
Now we're voting to adjourn. The next meeting is
Oh,
August 16th.
August 16th. And was there anything else I missed in that?
Yeah, there were some people that were speaking about your tremendous contributions to the committee, but we don't have to go over that again.
No, you should have recorded it though.
Okay, so Jack Kelly.
Aye.
Jack Kelly is aye. Lisa Kelly.
Aye.
Aye. Bob Hassinger.
Aye.
Jim Gallagher is aye. And the two deviants, I'm sure, are here for the ride, and they don't mind ending the meeting either. So we declare the July 19th meeting over.